Have you ever prayed so hard, so desperately, that it felt like you were pouring your very soul into your words? And yet nothing. No response, no sign, no miracle. It feels like your cries are falling on deaf ears, as if Jesus himself is ignoring you. But what if I told you that this silence might be the very thing you need? What if his apparent absence is a sign of something much deeper, much more powerful? Stick with me, because the answer might just change everything you thought you knew about your faith. Let's start by addressing the elephant in the room: silence. It's uncomfortable, isn't it? Especially when that silence seems to come from the one place you expect comfort, guidance, and love. You're not alone. Countless people throughout history have felt this way, like their prayers were being ignored, their faith left unacknowledged. But what if this silence is actually part of a divine plan? Think about the times in your life when you felt most ignored by Jesus. Maybe it was during a time of great loss, or when you were facing a seemingly insurmountable challenge. You prayed for a sign, for a miracle, and yet nothing. But in these moments we must ask ourselves, what does silence truly mean? The misunderstood silence. Let's dig deeper. When we think Jesus is ignoring us, we often interpret his silence as indifference or even rejection. But could it be possible that we're misunderstanding his silence? What if, instead of ignoring us, Jesus is actually inviting us to a deeper level of trust, of faith? In the Bible, there are numerous instances where God's silence played a crucial role in someone's spiritual growth. Take the story of Job, for example. He cried out to God in his suffering, desperate for answers. But what did he get? Silence. Yet through this silence, Job's faith was tested, refined, and ultimately strengthened. The silence was not abandonment. It was a profound, divine strategy to bring Job closer to God. The purpose behind the silence. Now, let's consider the possibility that Jesus' silence has a purpose. What if he's using this silence to draw you closer, to teach you something that words alone cannot convey? You see, when Jesus is silent, it forces us to look inward, to confront our doubts, our fears, and our deepest desires. It's in this silence that we begin to truly understand what it means to have faith. This is the paradox of faith. Sometimes the greatest answers come not through words, but through silence. It's in these quiet moments that we are invited to trust in Jesus more deeply, to rely not on signs and wonders, but on the certainty that he is always with us, even when he seems silent. The surprising answer. And now, here's the surprising answer you've been waiting for. Jesus isn't ignoring you. In fact, his silence is a sign that he's closer than ever. When you feel most alone, most unheard, that's when he's inviting you to lean into your faith, to trust that he's working in ways you can't yet see. Think about it this way. If you were constantly reassured, constantly receiving signs, would you truly learn to trust? Would you develop the kind of faith that can withstand life's greatest storms? Jesus knows that real faith is forged in the silence, in the waiting, in the moments when you feel most abandoned. The invitation to deeper faith. So, what's the takeaway here? Jesus isn't ignoring you. He's inviting you to step into a deeper relationship with him. He's asking you to trust, even when the answers aren't clear, even when the path seems dark. This is your moment to grow, to strengthen your faith, to find peace in the silence. Remember, even when you can't hear him, he's still there. His silence is not a sign of absence, but of his profound, unshakable presence. It's in these moments that you are closest to him, even if it doesn't feel that way. Trust the process, trust the journey, and know that he is guiding you every step of the way. The personal reflection. Now, I want you to take a moment and reflect on your own life. Think about the times when you felt most ignored, most abandoned. What if those moments were actually opportunities for you to grow closer to Jesus? What if his silence was his way of drawing you into a deeper, more intimate relationship with him? Take these moments, and instead of seeing them as signs of rejection, see them as invitations. Invitations to trust, to believe, and to hold on to your faith, even when it feels like all hope is lost. Because in reality, Jesus is never far away. He's right there, waiting for you to find him in the silence. Throughout history, many have experienced this silence, and yet they emerged stronger in their faith. Their stories are powerful testimonies to the fact that Jesus' silence is not the end of the conversation, but the beginning of a deeper, more profound dialogue. And now I want to invite you to share your story. How has Jesus' silence shaped your faith? How have you found him in the moments when you felt most alone? There is incredible power in sharing your journey, in letting others know that they are not alone in their struggles. Your story could be the key that unlocks someone else's faith, that helps them see that Jesus is there, even in the silence. As we wrap up, I want you to hold on to this truth. Jesus is not ignoring you. His silence is a sign that he's working in ways that you can't yet understand. It's a sign that he's calling you to a deeper, more trusting relationship with him. So the next time you feel like he's silent, remember this video. Remember that he's closer than you think, guiding you, loving you, and waiting for you to find him in the stillness.